Hi everyone, and welcome to my presentation on how school funding operates in practice and how economic inequity shapes educational opportunity. Framing the issue, school at cost. Funding shapes students' futures. Zip code predicts resources. Wealth drives quality of school. Underfunded schools start off behind. Inequity harms opportunity before school begins, and students pay the price daily. School funding shapes every aspect of the student's experience, even before they step into the classroom. Zip codes and property values determine what the property taxes are and how much goes to each school. So this is inequitable from the beginning, as wealth will always drive the quality of the school. So underfunded schools and areas with lower income housing and taxes start off behind before they even step foot into the building. This harms opportunities for those children and students long before school even begins. And the only one paying the price here is not the system that controls this, but the students. How school funding works. Local property taxes overwhelmingly shape funding, which we have learned in this course, and I learned even more doing this project, how bad that really is. There is an evidence-based model that attempts to close the wealth gaps, but because it's such a giant gap between the incomes, it's impossible to close it because the federal support is far too limited. Hardly anything comes from our federal support for the schools. Wealthy districts generate substantially greater revenue based on property taxes and home values every single year, and that just piles up, and there's more for those who already have, and those who don't ever make up that inequity. So high need districts will consistently fall short. This is the school district in my town that I substitute at and plan on working at full time, and my daughter will go to. It is a one school suburban district, preschool through 8th grade. The per student spending is $17,000, which is not the lowest, but below Illinois average. Illinois average spending per student is $23,100. I just think about how that difference between the $23,100 and the $17,000, what a huge difference that could make for each student in the district that I'm sharing with you, because there is such a diverse high need in that school. There's many IEPs, many ELLs, and many low-income students. I believe the school is 40-something% low income. And imagine what that extra money could do for each student and the teachers, who are also paid 20-something% less than the average of the other schools in the area due to the lack of funding. Also here we show the funding mix is 76% local, 19% state, and 5% federal. So 76% of what the school gets is based on property taxes that are already lower than most Cook County where we're at, but they are still definitely not cheap. Consequences of economic inequity. There are fewer programs and student support options. Enrichment cuts such as art, STEM, and shop, those extras that really help to give you a full experience of school and a well-rounded education. There ends up being larger classes, fewer needed specialists become available, there's outdated technology, and culturally irrelevant materials as well. Fewer counselors, fewer social workers, fewer support staff, fewer staff period to accommodate these students who deserve to have that. The opportunity gaps end up deepening and widening systemically. First country I compared was Scotland. The government funding reduces property tax dependence. The government gives a lot of money to these schools, which is amazing. So it's less tied to local community wealth, and pupil equity funding targets the highest needs. So the money follows the students that need it and faces the poverty gaps. Funds must close the attainment gap disparities. So the money goes where it's needed. It's spread equally, like I wish it was here, And equity there is treated as a national responsibility, unlike here where we treat it like it's just property taxes and how much your house is worth and how much you have. Country number 2 I chose was Italy. Like Scotland, government funding is a big thing there. Lowers reliance on property taxes, pardon me. It's less dependent on local community wealth. And extra resources like Scotland also reach the highest need areas here. And the highest need areas in Italy are the southern regions, I learned, that need it the most, as they have the least. This reduces disparities between different regions and makes things much more equitable. And it's a national responsibility model that reduces inequity very effectively. My reflection and professional responsibility. I'm absolutely shocked by the relentless, systematic, deeply rooted funding inequities that are in our country. It's actually embarrassing, like a lot of things currently in this country. To me, equity is a responsibility of all of us, especially teachers, and we have to fully meet the students' needs. Our teaching must actively confront deep unfairness and not stop. It has to be recognized. We have to fight fiercely for the resources and access that is a right to all of our students and our teachers, no matter what district we're teaching in and how much money they have. We also have to build inclusive, supportive learning spaces, which we can do as teachers in our classrooms from the very start, which is awesome. And my biggest reflection is that these other countries have shown how broken the system is here, and it is ours to fix, and it needs to be fixed ASAP. Thank you for listening.